Hello there, everybody, and welcome to 10 tips and tricks for the best starting mercenaries in Jagged Alliance 3. In this video, I'm going to talk about all the things that you should pay attention to get the strongest possible mercenary team. The fun part about this is that you can get relatable results with very different mercenaries. The pool here is deep enough, and the options that you have are versatile enough that you can set up an optimal team with very various faces. And that's really good because every one of these guys has a personality and it's extremely fun to play with them. That being said, let's get started with number one. When you're starting out with your mercenary squad, you should always pay attention to bring at least one Scoundrel, one Psycho, and one Negotiator. These three traits give additional conversation options, and it's really cool. If you are a completionist, it's even a must-have, because sometimes you cannot resolve some quests without all of the personality traits available in your squad. Let's head on over to number two. That's what I call the looter skill set. So you probably want to open up all the containers on the map, and to do so, all you need is a mercenary with high mechanical skill, one mercenary with high explosive skill, and a couple of people with high wisdom skill. That is all you need to find everything, disarm everything, and unlock everything. And since you really want to have all that loot, it really pays off. Number three, bring at least one sneaky mercenary. Even if you don't want to play too much into the stealth playstyle, one person with a high agility, dexterity, and preferably even the stealthy trait pays off so much as a forward scout. You can just check out where the enemy is positioned at, and then just decide where you want to set up your dudes and then start the firefight. If you haven't tried it out yet, I strongly recommend you to put a suppressor on your sniper rifle and go sneaking and shoot some of those guys. It's really very satisfying, very powerful, and a highly recommendable strategy. But even if you're not down to that, if you want to go all in, guns blazing with your revolvers and assault rifles, one stealther just pays off to scout out the positions so darn good. Good. Number four. Anti-intuitively enough, your starting roster should be low-cost mercenaries, and then you go later down the road into the elite and legendary roster, because several reasons. First off, money early on is scarce. Second, the enemies are real losers early on, so you can tackle them down quite easily with all the inexperienced soldiers. And apart from that, your mercenaries learn and they stay cheap. That's a pretty cool thing, because that makes you, at the end, go for a team that has low costs, lots of skills, and then you can just hire the other dudes later down the road. That being said, if you are, though, on a re-rolling spree, or a replaying spree, like you already beat the game and you would just want to pick up other people, you could also totally go for one or two costly mercenaries, rock the show early on with these guys, and fill up all the other things later down the road. It's really, really doable either way. It's just, if you are just out for a strong team early on, recruits and veterans are the best bet, because what they cannot do yet, they will learn along the campaign. And later, when you're deep in the campaign, you don't want to recruit anybody of these anymore, because the enemy is way too strong. So that's the TLDR behind that. Okay, so number five, I want to talk about the unique mercenary skills real quick. Every mercenary has unique perks, and when you pick them up for your squad, really try to play around them to get the best results. There are really amazing traits among these. Here you get extra temporary HP and melee damage. It's excellent for stealth sniping and stealth melee killing, and every one of these guys brings something special to the table, and it's really important that you play around that. It's such a missed opportunity if you don't play around the abilities that your mercenaries have, and all in all, try to pick up the traits according to your taste. But if you end up to pick up something which well, you never played with, try to orient yourself around these blue skills when you want to give your mercenaries their identity and their role in your squad. It's really important to get the optimal results there. Some of them are really generalistic, like here MD, for example. He's just there with his trait. Other people like Grizzly here, you really should give this man a machine gun to get the most out of his trait. That being said, really just pay attention to the unique skills, play around them, and you will notice how freaking broken many of these are. And that starts even with the lower tier ones, but pretty much every one of these guys can bring some serious devastation, and not playing around these things is a missed opportunity. Number 6, I want to talk about training. So wisdom determines how fast your mercenaries will learn, and that's a very interesting part, especially mercenaries that are really lacking in some departments. Like here, Mouse is an excellent sniper, but she's not so good at marksmanship, but she's pretty decent at wisdom. You can train her to be a really good marksman, and all these things can be just enhanced along the way. That means if you notice a mercenary who's really excelling at everything except for one thing, don't worry, you can train it up alongside of the campaign, and that's something to pay attention to. Especially important to note here is everybody with a high wisdom value is good at this. People with a low wisdom value, though, well, they will not learn that fast, and you should pay attention to that when you're hiring the people. Now then, number 7, I want to talk about the IMP mercenary. You can, for 7,000 bucks, configure or custom create a mercenary to your own liking, including some starting perks. This is an excellent opportunity to fill the blanks and the gaps that have happened because somebody was not available at the beginning of your game, or you just didn't want to take the same mercenary again just because of the trait he brings, because maybe you don't want to have this girl here again as your negotiator, so you can fill up this with your wonderful custom mercenary. Highly recommend to fill up the whatever is lacking in your team with this thing if necessary. Also, it's a salary-free mercenary, therefore pretty cool stuff. I'm addicted though to the personalities, so I try to avoid the IMP Merc personally at all costs, because that also means that I can have one more of these quirky people here. But that's just me personally. So, number 8, I want to talk about agility and leadership. So, agility is affecting the total amount of action points. Pay close attention to that. And if you pick up somebody with a low agility, like here, Bobby Gontarski is a notorious example for that. This guy is slow. And if you have several mercenaries that are high agility and one dude with low agility, this will be a problem in your squad movement, unless you position them accordingly in the preface. But still, you will always notice a problem when your squad has high variances in the agility skill inside its squad, so try to avoid that. The other thing is leadership. It doesn't really show up here, but I noticed lately that it obviously influences your movement speed on the map. I didn't know that myself, but according to the stuff that I read on the internet, that's a thing. So bringing one person with a high leadership skill is also beneficial for your map movement. So I put these points together because agility is also a thing about movement. That's the thing here. So number 9 is another thing. If you can't by any means put a team together that just works out for you, because the people you want are offline, or they're just straight out busy doing other things. Sometimes they're just not available for whatever reason that is. Meltdown has to take her kids to school, or whatever might happen. There's a lot of randomness there. Just re-roll the game, restart. You will be stuck with these guys for I don't know how many dozen hours if you want to play the entire campaign. Don't be like, I don't like that team because I don't know, Barry wasn't available. Then just re-roll until Barry is available. It's worth the time. You will spend so much time with the campaign, it's totally okay to re-roll until you have that team of mercenaries that you want to have right from the get-go. So let's head on over to the last point, number 10. I want to talk about weaponry and how to go for that during the starting screen. So when you're starting out, every one of these guys is really horribly equipped, you know. They all start out just with either pea shooters, or some people have actually a rifle, but most of the starting mercenaries just have handguns. So, couple of things. Heavy guns are amazing. They are really, really good at destroying larger amounts of enemies. Shotguns and pistols are amazing at close quarters. Sniper rifles are amazing for stealth and ranged kills. Assault rifles are pretty good for over-the-board damage per turn, but they don't excel at any point at all. Whatever you do, you should always have at least one person that is good on the sniper rifle, and it really pays off to have one person for heavy guns as well, because these are just so good at dishing out large amounts of damage. The other way to resolve larger amounts of enemies is explosives. You should be always prepared for these things. Shotguns, by the way, are amazing for clumped up enemies if you can get close. So what I'm trying to get to here with this point is decide which kind of weapon you want to give that mercenary before you start the game as good as you can. So for Grizzly, it's quite easy. We want to give that guy a heavy gun. For Kalina here, you want to give her really good sniper rifles. For example, somebody like Fidel with his close range skills here would be really, really good with a shotgun. Whatever you do, have a picture in mind how you want to use these guys, and have short range, medium range, and long range options in your team. That's the really important part. And most importantly, AoE. Always bring some AoE. Be it explosives or heavy guns, they count as sort of a AoE, or shotguns. You won't make it in this game without the ability to blow up a lot of people that happen to be standing too close together, because sometimes the numbers are so heavily against you. Alright, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. Of course, if you had expected now from me to give you a exact, this is a really good team setup, well, you're right. And I actually did that by setting up this team here. And this was for me to give you at the end of the video one squad that I really found extremely powerful because cheap and effective. And it looks like this, as soon as the loading screen allows me to. So I picked up Buns as a negotiator and a long-range sniper. Livewire is a mechanic and a scout. She's really also excelling at the ability to see enemies when you have intel. She's really horrible at shooting, so you have to work on that, but she's a decent medic. Fidel is my explosives and short-range combat expert, and MD, my medic and my mid-range fighter. And with this little squad here, you get everything done in the early game. You have 2 slots open to just recruit more people that will fit into the roles that you want to get towards to, and that's that. As a last thing in this video, I have put a document or a link to a Google spreadsheet down there, which documents all the relationships and stats of the mercenaries, because some mercenaries like each other and some don't like each other, and it's so much to keep an overview about that I just fetched that link and put it there. Big thanks to the people who fetched that together. So if you want to see who's working well with another, or who's not, or who has hidden relationship perks, check out that link and there you'll find it. Okay, that's the end of the video. I hope this helps you out to build up those teams and make them effective. Last words, leave me your comments, questions. If you have something which I feel, yo dude, you should have really brought that up, leave a comment down there, because there's always more than just 10 things to say about a certain topic. Thumbs up would be appreciated, and same regarding a subscription. I really appreciate the support. That being said, there's also a playlist down there for all the other Jagged Alliance 3 videos I did. And now all that's left to say for me is thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day. See ya.